Hare Krishna. Welcome to our program. Our speaker of the day is Shriman Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. He has done his master's degree from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is also a member of ISKCON Examination Board and takes classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Vaishnav etiquettes. He has written elaborate workbooks on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, with which the students can dive into intricacies of these great scriptures. He is a compiler of many other educational booklets and magazines, thus helping the seekers of Bhagavad knowledge. In all, he is a living encyclopedia of scriptures preaching the science all over the world, and who is exemplary and lives whatever he preaches. Come, let's hear him and try to imbibe the essence of scriptures as presented by him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
In the last 4 episodes of Samudra Manthan, we have discussed how Indra was cursed by Durvasa to lose all his opulence, and how the Supreme Lord Vishnu has given an idea to the demigods to make a truce with the demons, and together the demigods and the demons started churning the milk ocean. At the time, the mountain was very heavy. At the time, the Supreme Lord Vishnu has come personally to lift the mountain and bring it to the milk ocean. And we have also seen how the Lord expanded himself as Kurmadev and supported the mountain from the bottom, and we have also seen how the Lord supported and balanced the mountain from the top also, and he personally began to churn the milk ocean also. So, with the Supreme Lord Vishnu's assistance, the demigods and the demons began churning the milk ocean with great enthusiasm. As they were churning, there was turbulence within the milk ocean, and all the alligators and the aquatics were quite perturbed because of that. And the first thing that came out of this churning of milk ocean was halahal. Halahal means a very powerful and fierce poison. So this poison came out as a product of this churning, and it started spreading in all directions. So whenever we try to do something very good, in our good endeavors also, sometimes we may face some difficulties. Although this beautiful effort of all the demigods and demons was to produce nectar, that is Amrita, that can give immortality, still the first product that came out of this whole process is poison that can cause death, that can cause very piteous ending of everything. And this poison was coming out and churning, coming out and spreading in all directions. All the demigods and the demons were quite perturbed, they were quite disturbed, they were disappointed. So in this glorious and auspicious effort, the first product that came out is poison. So it is very devastating experience for all these people. So although the Supreme Lord Vishnu protected the demigods and demons in various ways during this whole process of churning up till now, he did not do anything when the poison came out. When the poison or halahala came out of the process of churning, Lord Vishnu did not personally protect the demigods or the demons. He actually gave that credit of protecting all these people to his dearest devotee, Lord Shiva. So, all the demigods were directed by the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Ajita here, and he personally accompanied the demigods also to go to Lord Vishnu. So, all the demigods accompanied by Lord Vishnu went to Kailasha and they met Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was on the Kailasa mountain, resplendent, along with his wife Bhavani or Parvati, and all the demigods requested Lord Shiva, "Oh Lord Shiva, you are the most benevolent personality, you are the most compassionate person, you are Paradukha Dukhi." A devotee or a Vaishnava is Paradukha Dukhi. A Vaishnava or a devotee cannot tolerate seeing the difficulties of any other living entities. When they are in dukkha, dukkha means distress. When other people are in dukkha, the devotee considers that dukkha as one's own dukkha. Thus, this Lord Shiva was very compassionate on all the demigods. So they were troubled by this great poison. So he was ready to help them. Here, it's very interesting to note that all the demigods, instead of taking shelter of Lord Vishnu, they have taken shelter of Lord Shiva. There are 3 Gunavataras. Gunas means the modes of material nature. There are 3 gunas. Sattva guna, mode of goodness; Rajoguna, mode of passion; Tamoguna, mode of ignorance. And Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are the in charges of these 3 modes, and Shiva is the in charge of mode of ignorance in specific. Not that Lord Shiva is in mode of ignorance. Shiva is not in mode of ignorance. Shiva is in supreme Vishuddha Sattva. He has pure consciousness. He is the supreme Vaishnava. He is not under the influence of the 3 material modes of nature, but to run this universe, he takes charge of this mode of ignorance or Tamoguna. And Lord Vishnu takes charge of mode of goodness, and Lord Brahma takes charge of the mode of passion. By passion, there is creation. Through goodness, there is maintenance of what is created. And by ignorance, there is destruction of everything that is created in this material world. So, there is creation, maintenance and destruction in this world, and creation is carried out by Brahma, and maintenance is carried out by Lord Vishnu, and destruction is carried out by Lord Shiva. Now, Lord Shiva is a Gunavatara. Avatara means incarnation of the Lord. So, Lord Shiva is also an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are incarnations of the Supreme Lord, and Vishnu is the source of incarnations also. He is also the in charge of mode of goodness, that is Sattva Guna. So, here Vishnu is the protector, Vishnu is the maintainer, Vishnu is the person who sustains all the living entities, but here to protect all the demigods and demons from this halahala, in fact to protect the entire universe from this halahala, Lord Shiva was approached and Vishnu was personally present. The reason is the Supreme Lord Vishnu loves his devotees so much that he wants to give them more credit than he takes for himself. Although he has done so many things in Samudramanthan till now, he did not protect the demigods or demons from poison now. He gave that credit to Lord Shiva. Supreme Lord Vishnu is described as Sarva Saundarya Sangraham, means he is the collection of all beauties. In the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as a part of Rudra Gita, Lord Shiva offers prayers to Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. In that context, he is described as Sarva Saundarya Sangraham, or the collection or reservoir of all beauties. Why? Why is the Lord collection of all beauties? Because his form is so beautiful and his heart is much more beautiful. What is the specific beauty of the Supreme Lord's heart? That is his ability or his inclination to give credit to his devotees than he takes for himself. Here, although the Supreme Lord Vishnu has conceived the whole plan of Samudramanthan and he supported and executed that plan in various ways till now, he gave the credit of drinking this poison to Lord Shiva. Why? Because Shiva will be glorified for all generations to come for drinking poison. So, Shiva would be drinking poison very soon and he would be glorified by all future generations in future yugas as the protector of the universe, the person who had great spirit of sacrifice, the person who is so compassionate, so benevolent that he takes up so many difficulties and distress upon his own personality to protect other people. So, the Supreme Lord Vishnu wanted to give that credit to the Supreme Vaishnava Lord Shiva. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. Shambhu is Lord Shiva, who is the best of all Vaishnavas. Shiva is also a devotee of Vishnu, and the best devotee of Vishnu is Lord Shiva. He is the best of all Vaishnavas. Bhagavatam says that very clearly, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. The Lord who loves, the Supreme Lord Vishnu who loves Shiva so much, so he is so dear to his heart, so he wanted to give the credit of drinking poison to Lord Shiva and proving him as the ultimate protector of this universe. So, we need to understand here that Lord Shiva did not hesitate when the demigods approached him. Another important aspect in this whole episode is the demigods went to Lord Shiva and offered prayers. They said, "O Shiva, you are the ultimate protector, you are ultimate creator, you are maintainer, you are destroyer." And they are glorifying Lord Shiva as if Lord Shiva was Lord Vishnu himself. So, we need to see that in purpose Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are same. Shiva is a Gunavatara, is an avatar, is an incarnation of the Lord, and the purpose of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and in his incarnation Shiva, both are same. In that sense, Shiva is a bona fide representative of Vishnu, and when a representative of the Lord is glorified as if he is the Lord, all that prayer and glorification actually goes to the Lord. So, when Shiva is being glorified in this way, it is actually Vishnu who is being glorified. So, Shiva is accepting all these praises as a representative of Vishnu, and in fact he is transferring all these praises to Lord Vishnu. So, in purpose Shiva and Vishnu are one. In that sense, sometimes Shiva is also glorified as if he is Vishnu, and Shiva is even glorified as Super Soul, although Vishnu expands himself as Super Soul within the hearts of all living entities, and Shiva is also glorified here. So, they are one in the sense that they are one in one purpose, and Shiva is a perfect representative of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So, and more importantly, Shiva being a wonderful Vaishnava and a great devotee of the Lord, Vishnu wants to see Shiva glorified in all future generations. So, we need to also consider other examples in this regard. It is Supreme Lord Krishna who has orchestrated the entire Kurukshetra war, but he just played the role of a chariot driver, and he made Arjuna the hero of the battlefield, and he made Bhima to kill all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So, the Lord is simply playing the role of a chariot driver while he is giving the credit of heroes of the battle to his devotees Bhima and Arjuna. So, Arjuna is glorified as the hero of Kurukshetra, and Krishna is just supporting Arjuna. He did not pick up a weapon, he did not kill any of the opponents, he did not kill Duryodhana or Dushasana or Karna or Sekuni or any of the great warriors. He is just driving the chariot of his devotee. So, Krishna wants his devotees to be more glorified than he himself. That is why he is called Prabhave Sarva Sattvatam. He is the person who expands the influence of his devotees. He is the person who wants to expand the glories and influence and the praise of all his devotees. He likes to see his devotees being praised by people in general. So, Shiva heard all the prayers, fervent prayers of the demigods, and he considered, oh, all these people are troubled by this poison. I must extend myself to help them. He says, in this context, there is a beautiful shloka that Sukadeva Goswami presents in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam. He says, Pranaihi svaihi praninah panthi sadhavah kshana bhanguraihi baddhavaireshu bhuteshu mohiteshvatma mayaya. Pranaihi svaihi praninah panthi. This shloka says that devotees are so compassionate, so benevolent, they can spare their own lives also for other pranis, pranaihi svaihi praninah panti, to protect the lives of other people, they can spend their lives also. They can give up their lives also. That is the benevolence of great devotees. Pranaihi svaihi praninah panti sadhavaha kshanabhanguraihi. Sadhus means great devotees. They understand that this body is kshanabhangura. Kshanabhangura means it is very temporary in nature. There is no permanence in this body. But if that body can be utilized for the welfare of others, that is the best way of utilizing the body. So, if there is an opportunity for a devotee to utilize his body and his life for the benefit of others, he is very much willing to do it. So, pranaihi svaihi praninah panti sadhavaha kshanabhanguraihi baddhavaireshu bhuteshu. On the other hand, there are so many envious people, there are so many selfish people. These people cannot spare whatever they have for others' purpose. They are so selfish that they think about themselves only. They think about their own welfare. They think about their own prosperity. How can I enjoy? How can I get all these various resources for my sense gratification? That is their constant meditation. But devotees are completely selfless, benevolent, compassionate, empathetic, sympathetic, that they think about others. Here is Lord Shiva, who did not consider his own pain in drinking the poison. Drinking the poison is not like drinking nectar. It is not like sugarcane juice. It is not like some sweet beverage. It is very painful to drink poison. But Shiva was very much ready to do it also. So, Lord Shiva prepared himself to drink poison just to protect all these people. When Lord Shiva prepared himself, he did not immediately do it. He consulted his wife Bhavani. Oh my dear Bhavani, here is this great predicament that has come upon all these demigods. So these people are troubled because of this poison, and it is my inclination, it is my interest to protect them by drinking poison. I have the ability, somehow by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Vishnu or Krishna, I have the ability to drink this poison and save all these people. Despite having ability, if I don't save them, what is the use of having that ability? So Shiva expressed his readiness, his inclination to protect all these demigods, and Bhavani understood, my husband is very powerful, my husband is very compassionate. So there is a combination of power and compassion. Capacity and compassion put together form the personality of Lord Shiva that made him, without any hesitation, drink all the poison. And Bhavani understood that when Shiva said that what is the use of a master if he cannot protect his servants? All these people are considering me their protector, their master. So I should keep their trust on. I am in a position to help them, so please allow me to help them. And Bhavani understood the power, understood the capacity and compassion of Lord Shiva, and being a very chaste wife, a very noble lady, she gave her permission to Lord Shiva. My dear husband, you can go and drink poison. And Shiva went forward and he accepted all the poison that is spreading in all directions. He put all that poison in within his palms and then drank it. So Shiva drank poison without any hesitation. Thus he protected all these people. And Supreme Lord Vishnu is so happy to see his devotee Shiva being glorified as the protector of the universe. So the Lord takes great pleasure when his devotees are glorified. Lord Vishnu being so dear to Lord Shiva, and Shiva being such dearest devotee of Vishnu, that is their wonderful relationship. And Shiva is happy to drink poison, and also Vishnu is happy to see the Lord Shiva being glorified by everyone. Now, in this context, Sukadeva Goswami speaks a brilliant shloka. He says, Tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya Tapyante lokatapena. This shloka is describing the benevolence or compassionate spirit of the devotees of Krishna. Tapyante means they undergo austerities. They voluntarily accept lot of inconvenience upon themselves. Tapyante. To do what? Lokatapena. To reduce the tapa. Tapa means misery. Tapa is misery because people in general are undergoing a lot of misery. These devotees, sadhus, almost always extend themselves and accept miseries upon themselves to protect other people from miseries. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha. And paramaradhanam tadhi, this kind of voluntary acceptance of inconveniences upon oneself for others' welfare is the greatest quality of a devotee that pleases the Supreme Lord. Parama aradhanam tadhi. Paramaradhanam means the supreme worship. Paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha. That Purusha, the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, akhilatmanaha, who is the soul of the entire universe, who expands himself as super soul within the hearts of all beings, that Supreme Lord is completely satisfied when his devotees extend themselves for the welfare of others. So the Supreme Lord himself is so compassionate on people, and his bona fide representatives, his dearest devotees, represent his compassion. They imbibe the spirit of compassion of the Lord, and they show that compassion on people in general. And that kind of exhibiting of compassion is the greatest form of worship of the Supreme Lord. Tapa. Tapa is austerity or voluntary acceptance of some inconvenience upon oneself for a higher purpose. That tapa is of two types. One type of tapa or austerity is for our own welfare. There is austerity of body, austerity of mind, austerity of speech, and we have to perform some austerity, some tapasya for our own purification. We need to practice how to properly speak, how to properly clean our body, how to get up early in the morning, how to do so many austerities right in the morning only for our own self purification. It may be little inconvenient to get up so early in the morning, but a devotee who is pursuing spiritual path, he will get up early in the morning to perform austerities. So like that, there are so many austerities done by devotees for self purification. And the second form of austerity is that austerity done for others' welfare. When others are in difficulty, this devotee extends himself to help them. That is another austerity. So devotees perform these two kinds of austerities, one for their own benefit, second for others' benefit. So advanced devotees, they are already purified. They don't have to do austerities for their own self purification, but they perform austerities for the others' sake, for others' welfare. So Shiva extended himself and drank this poison, and he pleased the Supreme Lord, and he protected all the demigods, and he himself is satisfied in such sacrifice which he has done with the permission of his wife for the welfare of people in general, for the welfare of demigods in specific. And when Shiva was drinking this poison, at that time all the snakes and scorpions, they came there, and as Shiva was drinking poison, some droplets, some little drops of poison fell down, and all the snakes drank those poison. So since then, all the snakes and scorpions, the poisonous animals, they became poisonous because of accepting that poison which is falling from the palms of Lord Shiva. So thus these poisonous snakes exist, and the Supreme Lord Vishnu is very happy with the sacrifice done by Shiva, and Shiva is happy with his own sacrifice done for the pleasure of people. Thus Shiva protected all the demigods by drinking poison. Hare Krishna.
For more such devotional programs, please watch Hare Krishna television. To get this channel, please contact your cable or DTH operator. For more information, please call 8767 845 845.